What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update, and in this video we're going to go over some new information from the Treasury and the White House and stimulus check related news. But first, if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on second stimulus check and unemployment extension related updates. My wife and I do all the research for you so we can bring you all the information in a quick, concise video. And don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first, I want to say happy Labor Day weekend to you guys. I hope it's going really well for you guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are doing, if you're doing anything special. We're just having family, close family. You know, we don't want to have a whole bunch of people come over, but my wife's parents and my parents are coming over, and my brother's coming over, and we're going to play some cornhole and just kind of, you know, cook out some hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill and just kind of enjoy the day. It's beautiful weather here in Ohio. So I hope the weather's good for you guys too. Let me know what you're doing this weekend down below in the comments. I would love to read through a bunch of them. Okay, first up, regarding the second stimulus check, we have some new information from Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin about him and the president and what they want to do for stimulus. I'm going to read this to you, and then we'll go over the details so it's a little bit easier to understand. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says, "The president and I believe we should do more stimulus." Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said on Sunday that he and the president are in favor of further stimulus in response to the ongoing pandemic. He says, "The president and I believe we should do more stimulus." Steve Mnuchin says on Fox News Sunday, "We have about 7.5 million jobs we need to get back until we're back to where we were, and we want to help small businesses. We want to help businesses that are particularly impacted by this, and will continue to work on proposed new legislation." Steve Mnuchin says that he believes negotiations with the Democrats are stuck both on certain policy issues, but more importantly on the top line. He says, has refused to sit down and negotiate unless we agree to something like a $2.5 trillion deal in advance. And that's in advance before she tells him the details of what they want in that number. As you know, we put $3 trillion into the economy when the economy was completely shut down. We've now reopened the economy, but let's do a more targeted bill, he says. The host went on to ask if the White House hoped to move forward with a so-called skinny stimulus bill in the week ahead. Mnuchin says, "I'd like to call it a more targeted bill, but yes, our expectations is we will move forward with that next week." In the meantime, Steve Mnuchin discussed his informal agreement with Nancy Pelosi to avert a government shutdown independent of the stimulus package negotiations. "The Speaker and I have agreed we both don't want to see a government shutdown, so we are going to do a clean CR, continuing resolution," he said. "I hope by the end of the week we can begin moving forward on that." He says, "We haven't agreed on the specific details, but my expectation is it would be through the beginning of December. That's what we did this year." Okay, so again, Treasury Secretary is saying that he and the president still want more stimulus. Just in the last 24 to 48 hours, the president gave that speech at the White House where he said that they have $300 billion in an account just sitting there that has been earmarked from the first stimulus package, and he wants to use that to send out direct stimulus checks to the people. I went over his exact interview in this video. Make sure you watch that if you haven't yet. I will link it at the end of this video if you haven't yet. But in that speech at the White House, he actually says 4 different times that they have $300 billion in an account, and he wants to spend it on stimulus checks to the people, and the money is just sitting there not being used. And if they can't come to an agreement, then his advisors are thinking of ways that he could pass it through a presidential executive order to get stimulus checks out to the people before the election. We are getting much, much closer to a stimulus package deal, which may include stimulus checks, most likely $1,200 to Americans, and also an unemployment extension, and also money for small businesses. In the last week, the Republicans and the Democrats have negotiated closer now than they have in the past several months. The two sides moved $500 billion closer to a deal in their negotiations. As you can see here, while $500 billion is significant progress, there is one fundamental disagreement over how to approach further negotiations. Republicans want to evaluate and negotiate each major piece of the stimulus package. They want to know what the money is being spent on. This was evident in the past negotiations where Republican negotiators made offers on specific pieces of legislation, such as unemployment benefits and state and local government funding. In contrast, the Democrats want to focus on the top line number. They want like $2.2 trillion. They want to reach an agreement on the total cost of the package and then fill in the details later. This was evident in their offer to compromise on the overall cost of the stimulus package. According to Mr. Meadows, one of the Republican negotiators, he asked Speaker Nancy Pelosi during the call what was in the $2.2 trillion proposal from the Democrats, and she wouldn't tell him. Mark Meadows says, I had a conversation with Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and even on her $2.2 trillion counteroffer, she can't tell the American people nor me what is in that $2.2 trillion. I said, what does the $2.2 trillion represent? And you know what her response was? I'm not going to tell you, let me fill in the blanks. He says, that's not a proper negotiation, nor is it anything that the American people can accept. So my question is, how do you arrive at a total number of a budget, a stimulus package, without knowing what's going to go in the stimulus package and, what all those things add up to? It's kind of crazy. So let me know what you think down below. Do you think that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are doing the right thing by saying that they want $2.2 trillion, but they're not going to say what's in that package, and that they're going to tell us at a later date what they're going to put in that $2.2 trillion, and then it seems like they could just spend the money on whatever they want in the stimulus package? We don't know what that is at this point, but if the Republicans agree on $2.2 trillion, then that gives the Democrats free rein to spend the money on whatever they want. Also, I want to alert you guys to some important things about the election, and that is that some voting, absentee voting and mail-in voting, actually will start this week. As you can see, North Carolina starts sending in their absentee ballots this Friday. As you can see on this graph here, this timeline below shows when states will mail ballots and open early in-person voting. This chart on the left shows the states that are starting their mail-in ballots or their mail-in voting through the mail. North Carolina starts as early as September 4th. That has already started, and a lot more states are starting here within the next week or two. So as you can see here, a lot of these states are starting voting for the election in September if you're doing it through mail-in voting. Early in-person voting will start as early as September 18th or 19th in some states that you can see listed here, and a lot of states will be starting in October. A lot more people are voting by mail this time around because of the pandemic, and they don't want to go wait in lines and possibly catch the virus. So a lot more people will be voting by mail, and you can actually start doing that now depending on which state you're in. And if you can't do it now, it will most likely be pretty soon for your state. You can actually go to the website vote.org to request your absentee ballot or your mail-in ballot. And you just fill out this simple form here, and you can actually go through the process of doing that. You also can jump directly to your state here and see the dates, the deadlines, and the rules for any specific state if you are going to vote by mail. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on future update videos, and don't forget to hit the like button for us down below if you haven't yet. Click on this bottom video to watch the problems with mail-in voting, and this top video goes over that announcement speech by President Donald Trump about the stimulus checks. You can watch this video to learn how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.